Hey, welcome back. Today, we're going to be talking about how you know that you're actually ready to apply to CRNA school. I think we all feel that imposter syndrome sometimes when we think to ourselves, who am I to be applying? How do I know that I'm ready? How do I know that I'm competitive? So here are a couple of questions that you can ask yourself and some signs that you can consider to see if you are actually ready to apply. So the first sign that you're ready to apply to CRNA school is that you have a pretty good understanding of the pathophysiology and pharmacology of your patients in the ICU. Now, I'm not saying that every single diagnosis that walks through the door, you need to understand deeply and thoroughly, but generally speaking, the broad categories of patients that you see on your unit, you should understand. For example, the pathophysiology behind sepsis, heart failure, liver failure, increased ICP. If those are the patients that you're seeing, you should really be able to explain what is going on with these patients and why you're doing the interventions and giving the drugs that you are giving. So if you feel comfortable taking care of the sickest patients that come through your door, that get wheeled onto your unit, that means you are ready. Now, when is that? Now, for some people, that might be a year. For some people, that might be 3 years. For some people, that might be 5. Don't put pressure on yourself to apply to CRNA school after a year. Yes, some people get into CRNA school with just a year of ICU experience, but those people have really well-rounded applications, right? They have really high grades. They have a lot of leadership activities. They just scream overachiever, right? When you look at their resume. But overall, people generally have 2 to 5 years of ICU experience when they apply. And that really gives you plenty of time to feel confident in the care that you are providing and get a really good idea of the pathophysiology that walks through your door, or rolls through your door, rather. It gives you a generous amount of time to get involved in your unit in a leadership capacity as well, and really do well in those science classes that you are retaking, right? We want to see A's in those. So the second way that you know you are ready for CRNA school is that you feel that itch in your gut for more. We are all familiar with that nagging feeling inside of us that tells us, all right, let's go for the next step, right? If you're applying to CRNA school, I know you are naturally a go-getter, but if you have that inner voice that says, you know what, I'm ready, then that is your sign. And while we may not ever feel totally 1,000% confident, I think there's going to be a part in you that says, all right, I think I'm ready to start applying. So if you're really feeling content where you are in the ICU, but know that one day maybe you want to apply to CRNA school, that is totally a fine place to be. Good for you for just listening to this podcast or watching this YouTube video and taking in all the information that you can to know what you need to do maybe in a year from now, right? You do not need to be comparing yourself to other colleagues to rush off to CRNA school. There is no pressure. You are going to be completely unhappy if you are doing something before you really feel ready emotionally to do it. So really make sure you are enjoying life before you enter probably the hardest 3 years of your life. And I remember when I wanted to apply to CRNA school, I had about a year and a half of ICU experience. Truthfully, I had a really hard time compartmentalizing, and I found it difficult to separate myself from the tragic things that I was seeing during the day. I was taking that home with me. So really that feeling of kind of being ready kind of came naturally to me because I knew I couldn't be in the ICU forever. And I think that a lot of that had to do with I was very young when I worked in the ICU. So I didn't really have the chance to develop a lot of those sort of mental health coping skills that I think it just gets better with time. The third way that you know that you are ready to apply to CRNA school is you are feeling very confident in your skills. And you might be wondering, okay, Sachi, how do I know that I'm feeling confident in my skills? I don't know if I'll ever feel confident in my skills. Well, this is how you know. It is the fact that you are now being viewed on your unit as a leader, as a resource nurse. People are now asking you questions. How do you do things? Can you teach me this? Are you a preceptor or a charge nurse or a resource nurse? Are you leading something on your unit? Are you onboarding new staff to certain protocols or devices? Are you training travelers or new grads? Are you known on your unit for being the go-to for something in particular? Have you sort of taken ownership of something on your unit, right? When you are at the point in your career that you are able to teach other people a skill or procedure, that is a huge sign that you are ready to apply to CRNA school. One of the biggest, most valuable characteristics that you can have as a student or as even a CRNA is the ability to verbally communicate effectively. If you are precepting or teaching other nurses on your unit, that is going to be honing your communication skills. And what do you think we do in the operating room all the time? We are communicating. So you are also going to be honing those leadership skills because you are truly going to be able to communicate clearly and effectively in times of a very high stress. And that is exactly what CRNAs do every single day. We are working to remain calm, communicate very clearly with the surgeon, with the circulating nurse, with the scrub tech, what is happening, what we need from the entire team to come to a solution, to keep this patient safe, right? To reach that next step. So if you find yourself in a position where you are teaching people and leading people in your ICU, whether or not that is a formal position or informally, that means you are ready to take the next step in your career. So overall, just to recap, if you, number one, understand the pathophysiology and pharmacology of the patients that you are working with on your unit, if you feel an itch for more, and if you are a teacher and leader on your unit, and of course, if you meet all the other requirements to apply to CRNA School, I think you should feel confident in moving forward to apply. And if you haven't already checked out our free masterclass, Getting to CRNA School 101, it is a great place to get a really high-level overview of everything you need to do to truly be competitive and ready to apply. So use that as a double check against yourself to make sure you're not missing anything. And if you're not, then absolutely go ahead and apply. The worst case is you learned something, right? So, all right, that is all I have for you today. I'll see you on the next one.